Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. And wonder what I have this for. I'm going to be taking some measurements because this video is going to be a part of a whole entire series about removing the suspension and installing a new suspension. I'm going with a Tom's Broncos 2.5-inch lift. This had like a 2.5-inch lift, like who knows how long ago, and been sagging pretty good, especially in the driver's side. And so we decided we're going to go ahead and do a series. My daughter and I, she may or may not end up in the video, we'll see what happens, but we're going to be going through and doing multiple videos so that we can have you join us on the whole adventure of this process. So this is the very first episode, so keep an eye out for future episodes. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you like and subscribe so you can see what's going on. And don't forget to hit that little tiny bell button. And yeah, well, let's get going. So first thing off, we're going to go ahead and do a measurement because I'm curious to see how different the suspension is. So even if I sadly don't get much lift, the difference between what it is now and what it will be, because we have all these suspension parts over here that we're going to be installing. The suspension ride will be really nice. I'm looking forward to it. Plus we're replacing all the bushings and everything, as well as doing some steering components which we'll have probably outside of this series, but so keep an eye on that as well. And yeah, so we're going to get our first measurements in. Got the floor jack ready to go for part of the process today. So measuring, if you're new to this or whatnot, if you have, at least Stanley's really good about this. You can always measure it to make sure, measure your measuring tape, but most of the time it'll either say or it'll be a standard size like this, and it's 3 inches. So at that point you could actually take this. I'm going to go right to the frame here. That's why I make sure I get it on every single time, and then I'm just gonna actually drop that right to the floor and then look at it, and we're sitting at 26.5 inches and add 3 inches, so 29.5 inches. So I'm just gonna actually go ahead and draw me a little quick area here. I'll go driver, passenger. And then, so for this side here, we're 29.5. Okay, we're gonna go to the next side. Shouldn't be much different, but I expected the front to be different. This, take that back. This is actually 27 inches. So we're at 30 inches. So this side's actually 1/2 inch. Sorry if we're going to be jumping around, so there may be some fuzzy parts as we're doing this, but we're not cutting, we're just going for it. It's all raw and live just for you guys. Well, live, as in you're watching it later, but it's live for us right now. Just doing it on the spot. Oh, before I forget the number, and I got this one, don't mind my writing, is 30. Let's go check out the front. So already a 1/2 inch difference in the back. So I'm going to try to go right near the frame as well on this. And get it lined up. You didn't see that? Okay, try this again. We are looking at 24 inches. So add an extra 3 inches. That puts us at a wonderful 27 inches. Ouch. That's a big difference. Let's see. So we got, what is it, 27 inches, and then we'll go ahead and do this side. And I'm just going right to the edge of the bumper here. Make sure it's kind of lined up okay. And wait, what? This is 24.25, so 27.25. Something changed? Why does it look like, okay, you guys tell me. You look at the front of this. We're gonna move the camera around. I don't know about you guys, but to me, it looks like that side is the loser. It's lower than this side. But after just doing a quick measure, this side is actually lower than that side. That don't make much sense. So what did I say again? I said, okay, help me help her.
27 inches total.
On this side. And then 27.25 on that side, wasn't it?
Yes.
Oh, what? Tell me that doesn't look crooked to you. I don't know. All right. Or maybe it's just because that back corner is actually really high, making this front corner. There we go. Went on a little rant about my front end. I always thought driving this Bronco, this front end was sagging. And it's all because that back end is staying up. So how weird is that? So 27.25, we'll have to write that down. Because this is part of a series, well, we're just going to share everything we can with you. Like, for example, this hood. This is kind of off the wall show here. Is this cable is actually a battery tender, so when I'm not driving it, keeps the battery going, so I can get it and start it up pretty quick. If you guys are ever wondering, I highly recommend them. They're pretty cheap, and it'll save your battery. And nothing worse than getting in there, wanting to start your. That's why it sits up like this. Wanting to start your Bronco and you can't because your battery's dead. That's no fun. So, anyways, I digress. Sorry. So yeah, 27.25. Let's go write that down. Okay. Well, there we go. 27.25. Then we got 29.5, and we got 30. From 30 to 27. That's 3-inch difference. That's crazy. You know, it'll be interesting to see what happens when we actually do the suspension lift. Is it going to lower this side? I don't know. So it'll be crazy to find out. Right there. Well, enough talking. We now know our measurements, and we'll just start this off with a quick tire removal. So if you've never done a tire removal, don't mind my neighbors, they just drive by whenever they want, want to go home. You're gonna hear them walking by. No, I'm just kidding. No, it's good. People are out enjoying their weather and stuff. So right now I'm gonna be taking off my tires for the suspension lift, and so hopefully you guys are still hanging out, seeing that things are happening. So I'm just setting this up right up underneath my axle pumpkin. It's going to be hard for her to really see as she's going underneath there. Let's see if we can get you a little closer so you can just see. Just put it underneath the axle pumpkin there. I don't have it lifted right at this moment. What we're going to do next is it's just sitting there ready to go. You want to make sure that you have a wheel chock up front, which I do. Some of the things that we're going to do is when we go to work on the rear suspension here, we have these tools set up here. The famous PB Blaster, highly recommend it. Helps with anything that's been rusted on for a billion years. The suspension hasn't been removed forever, so want to make sure you spray all your bolts and stuff ahead of time so it has time to absorb and break down the rust and hopefully unseize those bolts and stuff. And then we really don't need a whole bunch of stuff. Any kind of breaker bar like this is good. A bigger one is even better when you're dealing with really rusted on bolts. Once you use your breaker bar, it's free and it's moving nicely. You can then choose to move on to a socket wrench because you don't want to actually ruin the the wrench itself, even though Craftsman, if you have Craftsman, which I love using, they'll replace it for you, but just take care of your stuff. It'll last a long time. And you don't want to break the internals of this by sitting there cranking on bolts and stuff. And so we have that. And part of this set is to remove my sockets off of the wheels here. I actually have a little adapter that goes on these. It just slides over these here. And then in order to use that adapter, I also have a 13/16 that slides over this. You may or may not have something like this. I could use a smaller breaker for this to break these free while the tires are still mounted on the floor. And so we'll just go through, get it on here, and just break them free. And with the breaker bar, they should come free pretty easily, like so. It just breaks pretty easily, just like that. Once all of them are done, do your other side. Come over here. Oh, make sure your e-brake's on too is always nice, which I do. Oh, these ones are a little tighter. Now, I'm not removing these in a star pattern, but when you go to put them back on, there we go. This one was a little tighter, so. We'll get this side. There we go. There we go. Set that down. Make sure you have a good spot on this. Just want to get both of them clear. If you don't have them, highly recommend having large 12-ton jacks. Want to make sure I don't have them on my bolts. There we go. Then from there, grab this. And if they're loose enough, you just spin them like so. Obviously, if you have I should be sitting in my chair. Just to make life a little easier. Gotta take care of that back, which I'm not doing very well with. There we go. You can just do that. You can also do it like this. You can do it by hand. I'm just going to stop talking and then just bust through it, and probably fast forward this through for you guys. And here we go. Okay, so after you have your sockets removed, make sure you get yourself good seating position. Depending on the size of your tire, it could be fairly heavy. I have a back issue, so got to be careful. So what I'm going to do here is just get myself a nice good position. You can do this on the floor. You can do it on the thing. Use your knees, and you just slide. And you rock it out. I didn't have to lift. Sorry for the squeaks. I didn't have to lift this huge tire. So, and you gotta be careful because this can pop out here. You just remove it. Ta-da. One down. One more to go. Let's do the other side. A little less space on this side, but that's okay. We work with what we have. Hopefully that was fast enough for you guys. It went really slow for me. So I got the sockets off on this side. Once again, I'm using my legs as support, and then I'm gripping the tread with my fingers, lifting up just a little bit, sliding it off, so I'm not using my back. Otherwise, my daughter would be very mad at me. So I'll sure I'm going to pop the cap out, like so it doesn't fall out on you. Yeah, these tires can get pretty heavy, so you just want to, there we go. Then, last but not least, we want to drop the jack down. That will lower the Bronco onto the jack stands and also lower the suspension. One thing to really keep in mind is that you have your brake line and stuff here, and on the other side, as well as underneath, you'll have breather lines for your axle. And so all this stuff, you want to just kind of make sure that nothing's gonna get over pulled. So we're gonna lower it down and see what happens. Nice and slow. Okay, so now Bronco is now resting on the jacks. I'm checking my lines. Looks okay so far. Gonna lower it down a little bit more. See where we're at. Seems okay. It's a little tight. The idea behind this, trying to remove the tension off of the springs and off of the shock so that I can go ahead and remove what's in here. And actually, while we're at it, we could do a quick yeah, these are 2.5-inch blocks. Technically a little bit more. They might be 3-inch blocks. It's like, I don't know what they would construe this as, but it says 2 3/4 to be more precise. Yeah. Yeah, it's like 2 well, if I measure in the middle, it's 2.5. I don't know why it's a little higher on the outside, but these were 2.5-inch blocks. New suspension won't have blocks, just spring. So I don't know if I want to lower this anymore right now. And we're gonna wrap up this video. Ta-da! Did my job. Hope you guys have enjoyed this first video. Like I said, it's part of a series. Make sure to watch the rest of the series if you like what you've seen. Just trying to bring you guys along on this journey. Looking forward to this new suspension. So thank you so much for watching. Bye for now.